Imagine watching an anime character for years, thinking you understood them completely. But what if everything you believed about them was wrong? Some of the most famous anime characters ever created were hiding secrets in plain sight. Secrets about sacrifice, pain, and the dark choices they were forced to make. Today, we're breaking down 10 anime characters whose true stories are far deeper than most fans realize. Let's begin with a character who looked charming on the outside, but was hiding a broken soul. Howl Pendragon at first glance. Howl seems like the typical mysterious wizard, handsome, powerful, and a little dramatic. But beneath the charm, there's something far darker. Long before the events of Howl's moving castle, Howl made a dangerous decision. He gave his heart away, not metaphorically, literally. He gave it to the fire demon Calcifer, binding their lives together. Why would anyone give away their own heart? Because Howl was terrified. Terrified of growing up, terrified of responsibility, and terrified of the cruel world around him. Without his heart, Howl slowly began losing his humanity, turning more and more into a monster every time he used his powers. But when Sophie enters his life, something begins to change. For the first time, someone sees past the legend and into the lonely boy hiding behind it. And that's the real story of Howl, not a powerful wizard, but someone desperately trying to find his heart again. Chihiro Ogino. When Chihiro first enters the spirit world in Spirited Away, she looks like the last person who could survive there. She's scared, she cries constantly, and she doesn't believe in herself. But that's exactly why the spirits chose her. Chihiro's journey isn't about magic, it's about identity. In the bathhouse of the spirits, her name is taken from her. She becomes Sen, and in many cultures, losing your name means losing who you truly are. But Chihiro refuses to forget. Through kindness, courage, and small acts of bravery, she slowly proves something powerful. Strength doesn't come from power, it comes from compassion. And that's why Chihiro becomes one of the strongest heroes in anime history. Seita Yokokawa. Few anime stories are as heartbreaking as Grave of the Fireflies, and at the center of it is Seita. At first, Seita seems like a brave older brother trying to protect his sister. But the deeper truth is much more complicated. Seita is proud. Too proud. When his aunt begins mistreating them, Seita refuses to apologize or compromise. Instead, he decides to survive on his own. But the world of war is merciless. Food disappears, cities burn, and slowly, hope fades. Seita loved his sister more than anything, but sometimes love alone isn't enough to survive. And that tragic truth is what makes his story unforgettable. Sophie Hatter. When Sophie is cursed and turned into an old woman, it seems like the worst thing that could happen. But strangely, it might have been the best. Before the curse, Sophie believed she was ordinary, invisible, someone who would never live an exciting life. But as an old woman, she suddenly becomes fearless. She speaks her mind. She confronts powerful witches. She walks straight into the castle of a legendary wizard. The curse didn't just change her appearance, it freed her from fear. And that's why Sophie is one of the most quietly powerful characters in anime. Taki Tachibana. At first, the story of your name feels like a simple body swap romance, but underneath it lies a much deeper theme: connection across time. Taki and Mitsuha aren't just switching bodies, they're crossing timelines, trying to stop a disaster that has already happened. And the most heartbreaking part? Memories fade, names disappear, yet somehow, the feeling remains. A strange sense that someone important is missing from your life. That emotional mystery is what made this story resonate with millions. Light Yagami. When Light first finds the Death Note, he believes he's becoming the hero of a new world, a god of justice. Criminals die. Crime disappears, at least in the beginning, but power changes people. Slowly, Light stops killing criminals for justice. He starts killing anyone who opposes him. Friends, investigators, even innocent people. And that's the terrifying lesson of his story. Light didn't become evil overnight. He became evil one decision at a time. Eren Yeager. Few anime characters shocked fans more than Eren. For years, he seemed like the hero fighting for freedom. But by the end of Attack on Titan, he became the greatest threat the world had ever seen. Why? Because Eren discovered a cruel truth. The world beyond the walls didn't want peace. It wanted his people destroyed. And when someone believes there's no future left, they may choose the most extreme path possible. Eren didn't just want freedom, he wanted to guarantee it, no matter the cost. Nezuko Kamado. Nezuko is a demon, yet she refuses to act like one. After her family is slaughtered in Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, she becomes the very creature responsible for their deaths. But instead of losing herself, she holds on to her humanity. She protects humans, fights demons, and resists the hunger that defines her kind. Her story proves something powerful. Monsters are not defined by what they are, but by the choices they make. Tanjiro Kamado. Most heroes fight with anger. Tanjiro fights with empathy. Even when facing demons who destroyed countless lives, he often feels compassion for them, because he understands something most warriors forget. Many demons were once human, broken, trapped, and suffering. Tanjiro's strength isn't just his sword. It's his ability to see humanity, where others only see monsters. L. Lawliot. And finally, the greatest detective in anime. L's strange habits. Barefoot, always sitting in impossible positions. But behind those quirks lies one of the sharpest minds in fiction. L understood something most people didn't. To catch a monster, you sometimes have to think like one. His battle with Light wasn't just a fight between detective and criminal. It was a battle of ideologies, justice versus power, logic versus ambition. And even though L lost his life, his influence ultimately led to Light's downfall. Anime isn't just about action or fantasy, it's about human stories. Stories about fear, sacrifice, identity. And sometimes the characters we think we understand the most are the ones hiding the deepest truths.